Nom, come on in, take a seat, will you? We need to have a bit of a serious chat. Look, I was called to a meeting with the executives. Even the people from Rolltech were there. They're not happy, Nom. First of all, there was the incident with you not reading the league rules. Then you injured Darko Mitrovic. The incidents around town. I'm not even going to talk about that whole fiasco with the chinchillas. They want you sacked, Nom. Yes, I fought your corner. Of course I did. I think I've bought you a little bit of time. But I think you need to make a gesture, something to smooth things over. Go away, put your thinking cap on. Come back to me next episode. Just something that's going to impress the top brass. Welcome back to the Dobfather. 12 games played in the league now. I think we've steadied the ship a little bit. Darko Mitrovic has recovered from his injury. We've brought you back for another big game today, though. For the first time in front of the YouTube cameras, we're going to show you Derby Day in this part of the world as Dob take on Domjala. But before we get into any of that, a few more thank yous. Firstly, a huge thank you to all of the Patreon members who continue to support me on a monthly basis. And in addition to them, we're welcoming another 2 new channel members who found that little join button beneath me, and they've clicked it and entered a whole world of mystery. First of all, thank you to Joshua Brown, and secondly, thank you to Stefan Jonsson, who have both pledged up to be channel members. Stefan, by the way, is both signed up to Patreon and as a YouTube channel member. The support that all of the people that back me show me is absolutely humbling, and we're going to try and reward them with a Derby Day victory. But that is not going to be easy because we've got more injury woes. We do have Darko Mitrovic back. He's played the last couple of games. We got a little bit lucky with his injury in that we had 2 international breaks and a cup game during his 6 weeks out, which helped soften the blow. But the same week that he returned to fitness, I'm afraid that our striker, Simon Grigorin, was also ruled out. He's been out for 4 weeks now and has still got a little bit of a knock. I think it's going to be a week or so until he returns. He's hit 4 goals for us this season in 8 starts, so has been a pretty important figure in his absence. We've been playing Nechlavech up front. He's done all right. He's got 3 in 6 starts, so a pretty able deputy. But as the injuries are starting to mount up, I think because we're a professional club and we're training more than we ever have before, we are able to replace them with a growing number of youngsters that have all turned 17 and can now take their place on the bench, so as well as Rock Oblak, who you saw making his debut in the last episode. We've now got Krish Ruventry, who's now just turned 17 this week. Does not train well at all, young Krish, but he does play pretty well, and the coaches say he's got a fair amount of pace. We're even more excited to welcome Denis Valencic onto the bench, a 17-year-old 6'3" striker who was one of the stars highlighted by the head of youth development when these players came through. Talking of stars, we have another young player that's turned 17, Jan Pila. He's got a lack of a team ethic. He's very slow. He's got slightly worse on his heading, which is great for a 6'3" centre half, and is incredibly inconsistent as well. Put all that together and we're delighted to welcome Jan into the first team squad. He doesn't quite make the bench today, bless him, but 3 of the others do. Denis Valencic came on as a sub in the last game to make his debut. We're going to see whether he can earn his £4 a week after tax by potentially coming off the bench in the derby today. Since that last episode, there's been 2 cup games and we've won both of those, as well as 4 league games as well. One of them was an absolute heartbreaker. But let's kick things off with the cup, where we took on a non-league team and we made slightly hard work of it. We did give a full debut to Jan Oblak, but we huffed and puffed a lot. Šipek gave us the lead in the 7th minute, and then Nechlavech added a second before half-time, but otherwise we weren't able to take advantage of our superiority. That game saw us into the first round proper, where we took on a team from the 3rd tier of Slovenian football. But after the opener from Levech, our opponents missed a penalty before we added a second late in the game. In the league, we took on Aluminium looking to bounce back from the Olympia defeat. We were taking on an Aluminium side that we'd beaten comfortably earlier in the season. And on this occasion, a hat-trick from Gajic helped us to a 5-2 victory. But the next game was a bit of a heartbreak as we took on Maribor. They were reduced to 10 men in just the 8th minute of the game and we capitalised by scoring 2 goals. Kasnic gave us the first and then Gajic ran through the Maribor defence to make it 2-0. But then, against 10 men, the team imploded. Maribor scored in the 50th and 60th minutes. And then despite our numerical advantage, they got in behind our backline and lobbed our keeper to win 3-2. And I'll admit, in the game after that, I did start to panic a little as we took on the team who were bottom of the table. Defensive frailties led to our opponent's first goal, but we managed to get back into the game through Kasnic before losing 2-1. So it was a relief to get back to winning ways in our most recent game as we took on Chela. And after a penalty by Levet, Šípek took over, scoring 2 goals for us on the counter. All of which leaves us in a fairly healthy league position with exactly 1/3 of the season gone. 6 wins from our opening 12 games gives us 19 points, just clinging onto that final European qualification spot. And we're into the last 16 of the Cup. So those are all fairly healthy signs, I would say. But today, we're going to be taking on the old foe, Domjala. Now, I say old foe, I don't think they're in the least bit fussed about us. But we have them as one of our key rivals due to the close proximity of the 2 clubs. We've played them twice so far, once in the Cup last season, where they blitzed us 3-0. And we've already played them earlier on this season when they beat us again. So today could be the first time that we're able to get one over the big club from the town and potentially start a rivalry that they know about rather than just us. We're going to be bringing some of our youngsters off the bench for today's game. Hopefully, we'll be in a winning position when we do it. Let's just show you how good Domjala are with a quick scout report. The town of Domjala and the village of Dob are separated by just a couple of kilometres. Domjala play at a sprawling 2,800 capacity stadium. Only 3 wins for Domjala so far this campaign, but last season they qualified for Europe, coming 3rd, as well as losing to Olympia in the Cup final. The key man for them may well be Arnold Jakupovic, who scored in both of our previous meetings, and coach Simon Rochman will be hoping to climb up the table with a victory in the game against Dob today. Here we go then, exciting game today. There could be as many as 260 supporters in for this, all sitting together in the one stand as we only have the one stand, and they've got their choice of refreshment vendors. They're all open for the big game today. We've not beaten Domjala in any of the times that we've met them. Today could be the occasion. We've got a bench stocked full of youngsters. I'd love to give a run out to some of them today. I'd love to get Denis Valencic involved because I think he could be a striker for us in the future. However, early on, Sturm races clear and has an effort for the visitors. Then our keeper turns around the post and they've got an early set play. We need to keep solid at the back during this game, something that we've not been able to do recently. Today has to be the day. Just under 10 minutes played, both sides have had 2 shots so far. Domjala's have been on target, ours have been wasteful. And they are coming forward once more. And there is that key man, Jakupovic. And we've let the ball bounce over our own defence. And I did highlight him as the danger man. He doesn't give up charitable work like that. Who are we blaming for this? Is it Mitrovic that has just let the ball bounce over him? We've got a brace of centre-halves there. I think Mitrovic is the man that we're going to be blaming. It's Rems with the poor header. It's Mitrovic that ducks under the ball inexplicably, lets Jakupovic run in behind him, and we're 1-0 down in the derby. 64% possession in this game so far, but absolutely nothing to show for it. They've had 5 shots, we've had 5 shots, but theirs have been on target, and they found the back of the net with 1. It's defensive frailties that have cost us once more. That mistake by Mitrovic looks like it's going to send us into the break. A goal down, and indeed that is the case. This is another very disappointing performance. At half-time, we're going to make some changes to try and force our way back into the game because we've looked hopeless in that first half. We've got a front three who are all performing badly, so I think we're going to take Gajic off. We'll move Leveč out to the left wing. He's comfortable playing there. And let's bring on young 17-year-old Denis Valencic to play up front. He came on during the last game, didn't see a lot of him, but in the under-19s, he's been scoring hat-tricks on an almost weekly basis in friendlies against under-19 teams from non-league Austrian clubs. That's how good he threatens to be. We've got other poor performances out there as well, like Kiglar and Kasnic. We're going to let them go for the moment. We're going to kick off the second half and see if Valencic can be a hero. We're just being outplayed a little at the moment. Domjala are now up to 9 shots whilst we're still on 5. They're definitely having the better of the play. But here we come. Valencic sends the ball out to Leveč. Leveč is robbed and Domjala are in again. Jakupovic has got to be offside. The linesman's raised their flag. We're still going to have the agony of a VAR review. He looked miles off to me. Hopefully the VAR review confirms that because at 2-0 down, I don't think we're coming back. He was considerably offside, I think. He went way too early. We actually stepped up and did something rather intelligent there, so credit to the defenders. But again, you see how dangerous Jakupovic can be. We've got Leveč now down to a 6.4, and we've still only had 1 shot during the second half. I think we need more changes to try and sting us into life. One thing I think we could do is potentially change to wide players rather than inverted ones. Leveč is very comfortable as a winger on attack. Šípek less so we'll leave him as an inside forward, potentially attacking, and I think we're going to ask little Timmy to get further forward as well, because so far we're just not creating very many chances. Why don't we also just live on the edge and rotate the 2 central midfielders and see whether they have more luck if they each reverse their role? You'll see we're hamstrung at centre-half again. No matter who we pick there, they can't put in a partnership with Mitrovic. He gave away the first goal and is still playing the best of our defenders. Goodness me, we need one of our under-17s to come through. There's a 6'5" one there, but he doesn't turn 17 until March. So we're waiting on him really until we can try and blood somebody new into that defence. On 67 minutes, well, our opponents are in again and Sturm's had a header at goal. We are not looking very likely during this game. Let's nudge the mentality up. We're now playing positive. We've got an XG of 0.28 and we've played 70 minutes. The boys have created absolutely precious little today. We're just 14 minutes left. Let's throw the kitchen sink at it. I've pushed the lines up. I've moved to an attacking mentality. And let's throw 2 more youngsters on because they can't do any worse than the players that they're about to replace. Kiglar has been awful. Rock a Black comes on. Šípek has also been awful. Let's give Chris Ruventry a debut as well. And could we make one more change because Rems is playing terribly? I think we're going to bring Petek on. No better, I'm afraid. But that is as much, I think, as we can do to try and rescue this game. Let's see if we can at least craft a chance. We're going to shout, demand more. We've still only had 1 shot in this second half. Our opponents are not giving up an inch. Let's see if we can change it once more. Let's go Avbelj into midfield. Let's ask Oblak and Kasnic both to try and get further forward or at least start from more advanced positions. Oblak can be a playmaker. Kasnic, I think a shadow striker. He does like to run beyond the front man. And now we've got 2 minutes to try and force at least an attacking highlight. We forced a highlight. I don't think it's an attacking one unless we can move forward now. It's youngster to youngster as Ruventry gets it to Oblak. And now Kasnic. And it's the more experienced players that have let us down. Here is young Rock again. He's tried to send Valencic through. We're still coming forward. We've given the ball away once more. We've got defending to do now as Jakupovic shows us how a counter-attack should be led. He plays it back to Sturm. And we're lucky that we've not conceded. The final attack of the game. We've flung a ball forward. Marcus, not Mark Koss, but Marcus sends the ball back. and we are almost out of time. Kasnic has got one last chance. He can't find Valencic with the through ball. The referee blows the whistle. What a tepid performance that was. That was a poor performance that sees us drop out of the European places, and now we're looking over our shoulders to see exactly how far the teams in the relegation zone are from catching us. Where will we be when we see you for the next episode? My prediction is that it might not be looking too good.